Hey, okay, I don't know who's there. So I decided randomly to do a TikTok live this morning because it was so helpful yesterday to people. And yeah, so I know it's kind of early, but I promised myself I would do this. And I'm getting really good at keeping my promises. So if you have any questions about your clutter and stuff, if you are stuck, I'm here to answer your questions. I'm also here waiting for my tea, so I'm going to walk around for like a smidge and then I'll settle down. But if you are, surrounded by stuff that you're not digging, if you're feeling weighed down by things and like the stuff that's around you, I can help you with that. I am Beth. I am the decluttering life coach. So I help you get decluttered and stay that way. Help you through coaching. We work on routines that work specifically for you. But tell me where you are stuck with clutter and stuff in your life, just anything. And I am here to help you. It is a cold Sunday morning where I am, and I thought it would be fun to get up and, I don't know, see it when it's still sunny out. And because because of you, I took the clothes I never wear out of my closet. Awesome. I think that's a good thing. Um, did you try them on? Did you figure out why you're not wearing them? It's all about discovering who you are and what fits you and what fits your style and your season of life. Yeah, and here's my tip with all of this. If you guys showed my house, surround yourself, surround your body just with the stuff that makes you feel good and you love. Life is too short to be surrounded by clothing, to be encased in clothing that you don't feel good in. Next step, this is the thing too. You took the clothes you never wore out of your closet. They don't appeal to you anymore. Wonderful. Find a place that is easy for you to donate to. Get a bunch of plastic bags and do it. I don't know if they're open on Sundays where you are, but they might be. So awesome. Janice, congratulations. I love that. Thank you for showing up and letting me know that. That makes me feel like it was worth it to get out of bed, out of my nice, warm, cozy bed. Excuse me, I'm going to pour my teacup here. Makes it feel worthwhile that I'm doing this morning. Because I don't know about you, but I often will be just kind of snuggled in bed, looking at TikTok instead of creating content. I consume the content, especially on a cold, dark morning. Like, I don't want to get up when it's dark. But if you are tuning in, oh my gosh, we got quite a few people. All right, hit me with it. Where are you struggling with your clutter and stuff? How can I help you with that? I am here to do that. I love to do this. I am good at it. I help clients get results, and I want you to start living a life you love, and it starts with getting decluttered in my mind. All right, here we go. I have a blessing box in my community open 24/7. Oh, Janice, that's awesome. Do it today, and then like high five yourself and like can pat yourself on the back for doing that. That's great. Okay, so somebody says my bedroom. A little bit more cluttered bedroom. I would say it's probably a bunch of clothing, maybe. I don't know what's in it, but your bedroom is such a cool place to declutter because that's where you end your day and that's where you begin your day. And I did this in our bedroom. When you wake up and it's nice and clean and organized and you see stuff you love, it just sets the tone for the day. Yeah. And a lot of these things, all of my photographs and bosses. Here's 100 likes to start your live. I thank you. I assume, like, I gotta know. I guess I have to learn the back and forth of this. I just love showing up and helping people, so that's me. Okay, there's so much going on here, and everybody has got such good questions here. So, bedroom, craft room, photographs, parent stuff. Okay, all of this is it. You have to sort it. And sorting it, here's a fun way to remember this, all of everybody. So when I coach, because I want to take the drama and the angst and the I don't get it out of my coaching. So, yep, that's a good one. 4 boxes, trash, donate, give away, or sell. Any method that works. And this is a method I'm going to give you directly from my coaching program. the method I use, I refer to everything as a road trip, right? I call it destination declutter because we talk about the destination you get to. And the one thing I will give you that might help you is what I call this, I call it your internal traffic signals. So pretend you have a traffic signal in your body right here. And it's kind of like the ones that are out in the intersections, but it's flipped, okay? So these are the places in your body you want to pay attention to when you're sorting your clutter. I have it so you have a green light up here in your heart. You love the stuff that lights you up. You're like, oh my God, I love that. Green light, go. You know, yay, I love that. I totally want to keep that. Like, ooh, I look good in that. I feel good in that. I love this thing, right? Then in the autumns, totally down near where, you know, poop happens, as they say, you've got, oh my God, that's just trash. I don't even want that anymore. It doesn't even work. Like, it makes you feel like ugh, right? Those are the easy things, the stuff you love and the stuff you're like meh about. The things you struggle with mostly are the things that are in the middle, the yield, the yellow. But if you can just even go in and pay attention to the stuff that, like, the stuff you love, like off the bat, it's a literal gut reaction. Like, oh my gosh, yeah, no, I love that. Versus the stuff you're like, not so much. That will help you sort all of these things. Okay. My children's school and artwork help. Okay, I would say this. Remind yourself why you are collecting it. Okay? Why any of this too. This one is about children's school and artwork. But ask yourself, everybody on here, ask yourself why you are keeping it. What is the reason you are keeping it? Sometimes with the kids' stuff, it's because you want to remember that they were these little kids. Like, oh, look what you did when you were little, right? But it's more it might be also for them to see what they did when they were little. So have a conversation with the kid. Here's the thing, too. If you live in a house with other people, you shouldn't be the only one decluttering. Everybody needs to do their part. I firmly believe this. Spouses, partners, kids need to be taught. They need to be taught the skill of being decluttered. So when they leave the house, they don't end up being like the person in the dorm room with the messy mess, or they have an apartment they have no idea how to keep clean. So this is a perfect example, Audrey, of a time where you can get them involved in this sorting and decision-making process. It's all about sorting and decision-making. So, for example, you could say to them, okay, hey, we're going to keep one of these. Which ones do you like the best? Which is the one that you're proudest of? And then the other ones, like, you can't keep everything, and that's what hoarders do. And that is, an official diagnosis. So I don't say it lightly, but if you keep everything, it's just going to weigh you down. Okay? So I would say this, with everybody, with all of the things you are thinking about that you're struggling with, is you need to have a conversation with yourself and say, do I love this? Do I hate this? Or where am I in the middle? And in the middle is the stuff that I would honestly put in a separate pile, not to ignore for forever, but to deal with later. And deal with, and I mean that seriously, like going back and making those decisions and really then having that in-depth conversation with yourself about, all right, why am I keeping this dress? Okay, like perfect example. I have a dress in my closet. I wore it to a wedding a few years ago. I don't even know if I'm going to still fit in it, but I need to have a conversation with myself. Like, am I going to fit into it? I'm going to try it on. Do I even like it anymore? And after doing that, I can easily decide, yes, I'm going to keep it because I look good in it and I feel good in it, or I'm just going to give it away to somebody who's going to look spot on with it. Okay? Yeah, see? Boxes for kids, gifted it to them when they left home permanently. They love them. So, Jenny, that's awesome that you did that. This also speaks to the fact, frankly, that so many people, like you think you're the only person, you may think you're struggling alone with clutter and what to do with this stuff. There are so many recurring motifs, and I love how already we have a nice little community here that Jenny is helping out Audrey about the question that she asked. You know? Yeah, one box and not huge. This is another thing I recommend, is use your containers as a unit of measure to keep you from collecting too much. So perfect example, you could say to yourself, I have a box. I have a box of a certain size for the stuff that I'm going to save for my kid. And once that is full, I can't put anything else in it. What you can do if you want to put more things in it is to go through and start weeding things out you don't care about. But if you keep it to say that it will only be the stuff that fits in this box, that also helps you make the decision on how to declutter. Yes, Rome 17, sunny. Child didn't have much. As adult, how'd you get rid of things? So true. So true. That happens to many of us. And what I will say to you is that that can be a longer conversation. But the neat thing is, I would say, put a positive spin on it right now. You are right now abundant in your life. You have enough. You have more than enough because you keep on acquiring it. It's not about the stuff. It's how you feel. It's about how you feel inside. It's about how you feel about the stuff. And just be kind, like you're being kind. You right now are being kind to that part of you, that little kid in you that didn't get enough. But ask yourself, is what you have lighting you up or weighing you down? Right? And if the stuff that you have, regardless of the quantity of it, if the quality of the vibes of it weighs you down, then start to remove the stuff that weighs you down, because that's gonna not make you feel good. Okay? So start to have that conversation with you. All right. I love this. There's quite a few people coming on right now, which is a little bit much. I still haven't even had a cup of tea. I mean, a sip of tea, but I want to make sure that I'm getting some of these questions. They're scrolling by wicked fast. Organizing a craft room, same thing. Somebody else said craft room is look at your ingredients. I like to call it, when you do crafting, ingredients. Like, look at all the things you have that allow you to make crafts, and ask yourself, what are the crafts that you enjoy most making? And what are the ingredients that make those crafts, right? There may be some things that you bought that you said, or you collected, or you thrifted, that you said, oh, I'm going to do something with this someday. Well, pretend this is someday, and you say, okay, I'm going to set aside some time to do some crafts. And I would pay attention. Again, this is getting to know yourself. This is getting in touch with yourself and saying, what are the crafts that I'm drawn to? And what are the crafts that I thought I was going to do, but when I have the opportunity to do them, I'm kind of like, It happens. We think we're going to be one kind of person, and then we aren't, and that is totally okay. This is all about self-discovery, you know? So I would say, pay attention to the crafts you enjoy doing. And then the other thing, too, is when you release the craft items of the crafts that you don't groove on now, there's somebody else on the planet who might be the person who's lit up like a Christmas tree to do those crafts, okay? How do you get rid of parent stuff, the past, and photographs? I kind of went backwards, so I think a lot of this applies to many people. And the themes are recurring. It's sorting it. So photographs in boxes. Okay, here's what I would say about photographs in boxes. First of all, there's a difference between family photos that are like the one of a kind. You only have one tiny little black and white, versus I got doubles in the 80s of this trip to camp that I took, right? So separate out like the ones that you want to live on in your family archives for 3 generations. And here's a fun way to kind of get some distance on what you're saving and what you're keeping, is ask yourself, will my great-great-grand-nephew or niece want these pictures of when I went to Key West, you know? And the answer, I'm assuming, is probably not as much as, wouldn't it be great to have the picture of Grandpa so-and-so? So I would say, get rid of all the duplicates. Get rid of all the ones that are just, kind of, you thought you were going to take like the majestic sunset and it looks okay, but it's not really doing it for you, right? Again, when you're sorting your stuff, get rid of the easy stuff first. The ones that you say are red in your belly. They're crap. They're poop. You're like, no, I don't like those ones. Oh, it's a double. Whittling them down. Also, here's a tip from my own personal family's playbook is get rid of the photos of yourself that you don't like. Hello, great Aunt Catherine. However, you guys, always keep, these are the ones I want you to keep, are the pictures of you and your family when you look and feel good. When you want that to be the photo that generations from now somebody finds and is like, look at those people. They were awesome, right? Because if you don't, here's a funny thing. If you don't keep a photo of you looking good, you may only have one crappy photo that somebody found that reminded you of you, okay? Parent stuff of the past is also difficult because that is the stuff that is the most emotionally laden. But it also can, I will offer this to you, Missy, is when you have stuff that's from parents, you are going to feel the feels. You are. You're going to be looking, every single thing that you're going to be looking at has been imbued with the spirit of the person who owns it. You have a story about that. My dad touched this. This was my mother's thing, this and that. So you are going to feel feelings, which is good because you are a human being and human beings were meant to feel feelings. Now, the thing I want to reassure you with, and I know this from firsthand experience, is all of the feelings that you feel when you're going through your parent stuff, not all of them are going to be painful and bad. Opening up the box, reminding yourself that your parents are no longer there, you already know your parents are no longer there, right? So you may feel it a little bit deeply or when you open up the box, but then you'll just see that it's just a bunch of stuff. It's a mug. It's a mug that was made in a factory that, yeah, your dad may have had for a while or your mom may have had for a while, but you remember your mother and your father inside. The mug reminds you of them, but if you didn't have the mug, you wouldn't forget your parents, right? So remember, too, that there are good stories about your parents. You're going to laugh. You're going to say, I never knew that. When you go through their stuff, you will feel all the feels, the sadness and the joy and the funniness. We had an example with my husband when we went through his dad's stuff. We learned a really cool thing about him we never knew. We never would have learned that unless we had faced that box that my husband was scared to go through. Okay? Hope that helps. What else? Children's artwork. All right, boxes for kids. Yes, take photos of stuff. Yep. And again, when you are saving something for somebody else, and this applies to children, it also applies to if you have something that's like worth something someday and you want them to inherit it. What I offer for you, this one, is see what it's worth and see what it's worth now. Is there a market for it? Is it actually worth monetary value? And that's the reason you're saving it. Also, I say give things to people when they are alive and when you are alive sooner, so you can see them enjoy them, and also you can determine whether they want it or not. Do not be the cause of somebody else's clutter. If you are decluttering yourself, do not keep that legacy on of guilting somebody into something that they don't want. You don't want it. Why should you make them feel obligated for them to want it? Okay? It's better many times to release it to a third party where a stranger may really benefit from it. Okay? So there's that. CDs and books. CDs and books are an interesting thing. I would say this, like I have CDs and I have books. What I did was I put a lot of my CDs onto like my iPhone or whatever. But I did keep some because they had sentimental value. They decreased the amount of space they took up in my house. And then I donated, I think I sold the rest of them or something. Books and CDs are interesting because we are in a point right now where we don't need the physical product in order to enjoy what is actually in it. You know, back in the day, when maybe you didn't go to the library or, there wasn't Amazon, or really the internet. Before the internet, you needed to have the book in front of you to get the information in it or to enjoy the story. Nowadays, you can get that many other ways. So again, this is a recurring motif, and I love this because this is something that applies to decluttering of every aspect of your life, but it also applies to your life. So I say this in a decluttering level and also in a get your life to where it's awesome level, is decide what CDs that you like to listen to right now in your life. Are there ones that you bought back in the day that you're like, I don't only really like one song, and maybe digitize them. It's not too painful. And then where do you listen to your music the most? I find I listen to mine, actually my husband's a musician, so we're surrounded by music all the time, so I like quiet. But figure out where you listen to your music and, get it so you can do it there. Also remind yourself of the songs you like and you don't like. Like I did that. I just did it the other day. There was an album that kept on popping up. I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of done with this. And so I deleted it off of there. Again, reaffirming and getting in touch with yourself about what's important to you, with who you are right now, and also the life you want to live. So if the life you want to live is decluttered and much lighter and freer, maybe you want to move, maybe you want to downsize, reducing the amount of physical clutter in your life makes you feel better on many levels. And remind yourself of why you're doing it. Again, your destination decluttered. And I talk about this when I do my one-on-one coaching with people. We always start with deciding what you want your life to look and feel like, and for you to get all, kind of revved up about it. So you do the more. Sweet pea honey. Just the one in, one out. That's a great thing. Like, we can't bring this in here unless we get rid of one. And we do that in our house too. I say it works until my sister brings me her hand-me-downs. Now, isn't this funny? Your sister has finally gone through the decision where she doesn't want it, and yet, trust me, here's the thing I say. Anytime we are giving something to somebody that we know versus donating it, we are doing it with a sense of love behind it. Like, maybe this will help you. Here's some clothing I liked, maybe you will too. Acknowledge the love behind the gift, and this is for gifts too. Acknowledge the feeling behind it, but don't feel like you need to hang on to the physical object. So your sister gives you the hand-me-downs, and you say, oh my God, thank you. Thank you for thinking of me. Thank you for thinking that this could easily give me more clothes that I might like and fit without having to pay for them. But then if you don't like the clothes, pass them along to a stranger, okay? So think about that. There's love behind that. Decluttering, I'm just trying to catch up here. Seems to be a lot about getting to know our current favorites and leaving old favorites. Well, it is, and you don't have to leave your old favorites. You can remind yourself of that, but then here's my thing. Like I have, and I did, there's a video here on TikTok, and please, a little infomercial, please like my TikTok page here. It just helps me, helps people find me, people who are struggling with their clutter, kind of amplifies what I do. I did a video not too long ago where I just walked around my house and I took little video snapshots of some of the stuff that I collect, because I firmly believe, even though I'm a decluttering life coach, I do not have a Zen monastery type of home. I mean, I've got stuff, but I love my stuff. So you don't have to leave your old favorites. You can revisit them. But here's what I say with that is, if they light you up, keep them, and then find a way to display them, that you see them, that they're not just in a box. But also be okay with saying, I loved this, I liked this at a certain point in my life, and now for who I am now and who I want to be in the future, I'm ready to let it go. It's okay. Like, think about it if you were still eating the food you ate when you were 2 years old, or even 1 year old, when you're still, I don't have kids, so how old are they when they are eating pablum? Think about it. Are you still eating strained peas? No. At one point in your life, that was your jam. But it's not now, and that's okay, because as humans, the best thing we can do is evolve, is grow, is flourish, is grow into our own selves. Like, look at me right here. I got some flowers. Allow yourself the space to bloom into who you are, and you're always going to be re-blooming and reinventing. The things you loved in 5th grade are not the things you loved when you were 35. They might be, they might not be, and that's okay. You're blooming as a person. So by releasing the stuff that just no longer does it for you, you are only surrounded by what you love, and you have space to grow into who you want to become. Hope that helps. Yeah, yep, thank you. Oops, here we go. Yeah, there we go. Is being a maximalist bad? No, it isn't. No, nothing is bad if it makes you feel good. If it makes you happy, it can't be that bad. Who is that, Sheryl Crow? No, I have a ton of stuff around my house, and people think, like, you're a declutter, but here's the thing. Clutter is the stuff that you don't like. Clutter is the stuff that you look at and it's trash, and you can easily put it in the trash or recycle or donate. Clutter is the stuff that you need to use every day, but it's just on surfaces and not put away where you know where it is, but it does not, like, visually overwhelm you. And if you love your stuff, I'm not about to tell you that anything you do is bad in your own home. You need to define what lights you up in your own home, right? I have 129 some odd, I gotta count them again, plastic snow domes in my living room that for years I had in boxes, and I was like, I kind of love these. And I did whittle them down from probably 200. They light me up. They are on display in my house, because it's my house. Aw. Okay, my mom recently died, and she was a collector of teapots. How do I let it go? Well, isn't that cool? I love it that your mom, when she was alive, that she found something that she enjoyed doing, which was going out and finding teapots and collecting them. That is awesome. But I am Joy MC. Here is an official pass to release you from keeping all of your mother's teapots unless you want to. I will suggest, if you want to, keep one of them. If you want to. If you don't, it isn't like you're going to forget your mother, right? Right? Okay? So then the other thing too is, maybe find a way, and especially what's a big tea collection, maybe find a place, a good place that you could donate it where they might enjoy somebody else's, like somebody else might light up about them. And here's something I would offer is, I don't know if you have this in your area, but check it out. There might be. Would be a place that you donate the items and then the money goes towards helping somebody else. We have a Goodwill in our town that sometimes I donate to. We have a hospital thrift store that sometimes I donate to. We also have a historical society that does regular sales that they will then make the money from it. So feel a place, see if there's a place that makes you feel good to donate them to. Or here's another thing. Ask somebody else in the family, does anybody want any one of Ma's teapots, right? Maybe one of her friends might want one, maybe one of them, see if any of them were worth like big bucks on the internet, but make some decisions, but never keep something in your house that weighs you down instead of lighting you up. Okay? Because when you feel good, and thank you, yes, when your surroundings, your clothing, your surroundings in your house, everything you do should add to the wonder and benefit and delight of your life. It should not be shaming you. It should not be telling you bad stories. It should not be making you feel uncomfortable. This is your life. This is your body. This is your house. Decorate it any way you want so that when you walk in the room, when you unlock the door out of the chaos of the world, you walk in and be like, oh my God, I fucking loved being here. I apologize. When I get excited, I sometimes swear. But when you come home, you're like, I feel good when I am in here. When you wake up in the morning and you open your eyes in your bedroom, you wake up and you say, oh my gosh, I feel good here. When you walk from your bedroom to the bathroom, you walk in and you're like, I feel good here. Like this, I love this place. I love my life. Okay, that's what I want. Lucky girl, what's the first step to decluttering? Here's the thing that I think is going to make a difference. First of all, I can just be flip, but it's true. Just start. I would say start with the easy things. Start with trash and things you can donate and things that are just on surfaces that you can put away where they belong. But actually the even better one, and this is for everybody who's on here, is before you even start to declutter, sit down with yourself where it's quiet. I did a video about going out to your car. If your house is so chaotic that you can't think in there, just go someplace quiet and say, why am I doing this to begin with? Like, what is my goal? What is my destination? What do I want my life to feel like? What do I want my house to look like? And get some specifics. Picture your house all organized and neat. Picture yourself in your house and how it feels when you are in your body, when you are in your house and it's all nice and organized. Maybe you've got friends coming over. Maybe you're just like, look at me, I have all this time because I'm not always like decluttering. Maybe, you're out, you're not even in your house because your house is so decluttered that you're out, traveling the world. So I would say this to everybody. Fall in love with, create a destination that makes you excited to do the decluttering and hold on tight to that. Remind yourself of it every time you start one of those projects because it's going to get sticky. It's going to get boring. It's going to get overwhelming. You're going to feel like you're making no progress. And I say all of that matter-of-factly because it is part of the process. Is too, like when you're doing a cross-country road trip, and this is where I coach like you're on a road trip because it takes the drama out of it. But when you're on a cross-country road trip, a lot of it's going to be fun with the wind, hair in your wind in your hair, and the music on. But then you're going to get to the desert. And you're just going to have to drive through it because you can't stop because there ain't nothing there. And if you want to get to California when you're driving on Route 66, you're going to be driving for hours in the boring parts. You need something that's going to motivate you to keep going or you're going to give up as soon as it gets hard. Okay? Hard time releasing clothes you no longer wear. Have a conversation with yourself. Have a conversation with yourself and just ask yourself, because I don't know, if I were coaching you, if we were doing our coaching, it would be kind of something like this. I'm not in your house. I coach on Zoom, so I can help anybody anywhere on the planet. It makes it so much fun. I also don't need to be in your house to help you with your clutter because your clutter problem isn't in your house, it's in your head. And I say that with love because that means you can fix it. So I would say this, why aren't that piece of clothing, that one piece of clothing, pick out one piece of clothing and say, why aren't I wearing this? And listen for the answer. This is how you start to pay attention to what's important to you. You will have a dialogue with yourself. It doesn't fit. It's either too big or too small. I thought I was going to wear it, but I put it on and I don't feel like I look good. I put it on and it maybe fits me, but it pinches around my middle and I feel uncomfortable in it. You know? Have that conversation with yourself and only surround your body with clothing that makes you feel like you look good. It feels good. It fits you. And then everything else, there could be somebody else on the planet who that piece of clothing would look awesome on them. Release it and get that closer to that person. It's not going to do you any good to hang on to it, right? So let it go and know that you're like being a fairy godmother to somebody out there who's saying, holy heck, I have been waiting for that dress. Like that dress will light up my life, okay? Do that. Oh, Chilean and nurse, depressed for years. I just hated everything about me. Well, I will say this with love as a stranger who doesn't know any of your stuff is if you are depressed, get some help, my dear. Get some official help. Depression does definitely show itself in clutter. Not all the time. But if you have depression, you owe it to yourself to get some help with it. And know that you are worth getting the help and figuring that shit out. And there is plenty. I don't even know you, but there's going to be stuff about you to love. And start to love yourself. It's really, you guys, this is all about loving yourself and loving your life and loving how you feel and how you look and all this. Oh, thank you. I'm hoping I'm helping people. This is why I show up. I just decided to do this morning. Yesterday I had a real fun time helping people. And this is why I do my coaching. I do one-on-one coaching with Zoom, and I do one-on-one where all we do is talk about your specific situation. All here I can do is give you general stuff. But to me, this gives you, whoever shows up, a flavor of what it might be like to have a coaching relationship with me. This is how I talk. These are the metaphors I use. This is how I show up. I mean, usually I'm not just in my pajamas, but yeah, it's in your mind and it stresses you out and overwhelms me. Okay, so this is the wonderful thing. Couple of ways, overwhelm. Again, I'm looking at however many people are here, is I would say this, overwhelm. If you can take one thing away from this little convo that we're having this morning on a Sunday morning, when you think of the word overwhelm, when you see the word overwhelm, when you feel the feeling of overwhelm, think about it like you're looking at, you're looking at a map of the entire United States, but what you want to do is you want to drive from Boston to Palm Springs, California, right? You're looking at the entire map, because if you're going to go on that trip, it can be overwhelming to look at the entire map and think like, oh my God, I have to do all that. I can't even. What you want to do then is, instead of looking at your map, pretend you've just put your destination in on your like GPS on your phone and just seriously chunk it down. What's the first street I need to drive down to get closer to where I want to go? What's the first thing? So overwhelm means you are just the key to, sorry, I'm stumbling over my words here. The key to overcoming the overwhelm is to chunk whatever it is down into smaller sections to just get started. So if you have a mound of clothing, pick one piece of that clothing and make a decision for it, and then repeat, and then repeat, and then repeat. If there's one room in your house, here's another thing. If you think, oh my God, it's going to take so long, set a timer for 20 minutes and do some decluttering for 20 minutes. And when the 20 minutes is over, give yourself a high five and say, check me out. I decluttered for 20 minutes. You will have made progress towards being decluttered in that 20 minutes. Okay? Yes, clutter is making your depression worse, and your depression is probably making your clutter worse. I happily and readily admit I am not any kind of licensed mental health person. But because I do that, because I say to you, go find somebody who deals with depression and can help you with that. Because when you do that, I have seen this, when people get help with their depression, they are often much more easily able to manage their depression in their clutter when they're managing their depression. Okay? Yeah, seriously, Ashley, I am from the Boston area originally. I live outside of Philly now, but my destination, my life destination, my feeling of what I want in my life is always Palm Springs. It's warm, it's uncluttered, it's bright and colorful and cheery. That's does my house look and feel like Palm Springs to me? Yeah. So seriously, anytime, you guys, the overwhelm is what keeps you stuck. And the overwhelm is your brain, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but we talk about it fun. This is how I talk about your brain, if you want to know how I coach. Your brain it's like you're in your car, And when you're stuck, it means you've got some backseat drivers who don't want you to move forward. But you also have a co-pilot. And coaching as your co-pilot is the person who's like, you know what, let's go to Palm Springs. You know, it's going to take a wicked long time, but it's going to be so fun when we get there, and we'll probably have fun on the road trip. Let's do it, right? Yeah, so, okay, so here's this. So when I just introduced that notion of your brain and you've got some backseat drivers who don't want you to change because you're so much more, they know you how you are now. So when you try to get rid of stuff, you make excuses to keep stuff instead. When you keep those excuses to keep it, your part of your brain that is trying to get you to get rid of them is your co-pilot, is the good part of you that knows you'd feel better if you decluttered. The ones that's keeping you stuck are the voices that come from the back seat going, don't do that, you might use it someday, keep the way you are, right? So hope that helps. It's so easy to buy online and not realize how much you bought. Yeah, see, it's dangerous. We get this little feeder button. You know, I would say this is what I would say. Like, I come from a cluttering household. My mother, to this day, my mother is 82, and I know she's not on TikTok, so I can say this. And my sisters are on TikTok, but they would totally be like, oh, hell yeah. My mother continually buys books that she will never read. She even says, I would have to live till I was 487 to read the books I already have. Yet every day she's buying stuff on Amazon. Now, I'm not going to change her with that. But I will say this, play with the toys. The stuff that you have bought, use it. Read the book. Wear the clothes, use the gadget, whatever it is. And if you bought it and you thought it was going to work and it doesn't, it's not going to suddenly work if you keep it in your house. So get it closer to somebody who would help with, okay? Okay, so you're getting there right now. You're drowning. You're not drowning because you're here. And so drowning just means you're in too deep. Come to the shallow end. Start with some easy wins. Start with trash. Start with clothes. Start with, and I mean like this, start with surface clutter, okay? This is the easy way to ease yourself into the pool of decluttering so you are not feeling like you're drowning. So start in the shallow end. I talk about it when I do my cluttering, and I'm sure I got a video on here about the 3 levels of clutter. So anytime you start, to get yourself into it and to realize you can make these decisions and you are making progress, start with surface clutter. Surface clutter is a couple of things. It is the stuff that's on your surfaces. So I'm in my kitchen, I'm looking at the counters, on tables, on bureau tops, on floors, any like horizontal surface. That stuff that's on there is stuff that probably doesn't live there. So I would say this, put the trash in the trash, win. Put the recycles in the recycles, win. Put the stuff that is in one room that doesn't belong there, make piles for the rooms it belongs to, and then bring them to those rooms. And then the stuff that's on the surfaces in that one room that are on the surfaces, put them in the homes that they belong. Like put your spatula where your spatula goes. If you don't have a home for those things, then create a home. And then that's one way of making progress. The other 2 flavors are stored clutter, which is drawers and doors, closets and bureaus and, drawers. That's a different process. But start, if you just do surface decluttering and you practice this, and I have here's a little infomercial. If you sign up for my Destination Decluttered mailing list on my website, destinationdecluttered.com/join, you automatically get sent a habit tracker that I made. It's kind of fun. It's like a road trip because that's how I coach. And this allows you to keep track of, it's got 10 pre-printed things that remind you to just deal with your surface clutter every day. In 30 days, if you deal with your surface clutter, you will see such a difference that you will say, I can do this. This isn't so bad. I'm seeing improvements. Then I can talk about the stuff that's in drawers and indoors and in your attic and stored stuff. And then we talk about the sentimental stuff. Okay? Okay, next thing to tackle after service. I don't know where to begin. Too much to do, so nothing gets done. Too much to do, nothing gets done. When you start, here's another clue that I love, because I love paying attention to people's words, because we speak volumes with the words we choose. Too much to do, so nothing gets done. Doesn't that sound like an overwhelm kind of statement? And I say this to just get yourself curious about do this. Nothing. Anytime you're talking in superlatives, overwhelming, I never, nothing, always. Like superlatives mean that it's overwhelm and your brain is telling you it's too big. So too big, too much to do, so nothing gets done. So chunk it on down to something little. There are so many ways you can cut up the pie of clutter. And you get to choose and make it something fun. You can choose to only work in one room out of your whole room, out of your whole house. Pick a room. Out of that one room, pick, one side of the room. Pick one closet. Pick one drawer. The thing is to chunk it down to something so small that it doesn't seem overwhelming. You can open the drawer and then set a timer for 20 minutes. And if you feel like you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm going to spend the day, set a timer for 20 minutes and just put it aside and then work on it for 20 minutes. And then you will have made progress because you're going to sort through the stuff that you use and you don't use and categorize your things, like if you have a drawer, and pull out what doesn't work, the stuff that you don't want, crappy pens, whatever. Make those things go away by donating them or throwing them into the trash. And then when your timer goes off, congratulate yourself for showing up for 20 effing minutes when before you thought nothing is getting done. Something just got done and you did it. All because you decided to do it. Because you can do this. Those thoughts of saying nothing gets done, anytime you are stuck and you're at a roadblock, and again, I speak in the language of road trip because it takes the drama out of it. Think of yourself on a road trip. You want to be at that decluttered life. You're on the road to it, but there's a roadblock in front of you. And the roadblock is typically the voices in your head from the backseat drivers telling you not to move forward. So what you do is you listen to them, and they say something like, it's overwhelming, it's too much, you'll never get anything done, you're not making any progress, whatever. Those are the words that keep you stuck. But then you say, ooh, I'm on to you. And you say, okay, you know what? I'm just going to chunk it down. I'm just going to do this one thing. Don't worry. I'm just going to do it for like 20 minutes. It's no big deal. But then you do that, and then you're moving forward again. Okay? It's kind of fun to hear them and see what they're doing. And they're doing it with love. I don't want to get into it because it's kind of deep, but they're doing it because they want to keep you safe and protected. But there you go. Emery loves you. I can't stand putting laundry up. Okay, here, let me ask you this. Is there a way you can make your laundry process easier? I think there might be. Because I used to be a process engineer, so I use that like kind of clinical thing that I used in this job that I had that was such a random job that I had, but it ended up being so beneficial now that I do this, is if we were coaching together, you would describe to me your laundry process, right? And I would say, like, I could help you find ways to make it easier, but also maybe just reframing it. So I will say this too, and this will go out to my ADHD people, my people are your people. We are all there. Can't stand putting laundry up. There are certain things that clutter up your home that on the surfaces that, for lack of a better term, you're going to have to deal with for the rest of your life. Now, I don't say this in a mean way. I say it with such neutrality because it just is. You've got laundry. Laundry isn't a one and done. Laundry is as soon as I get it all out there. And I think that, it's like as soon as you do that, as soon as you put on a new pair of clothes and take them off, laundry starts again. There are cycles. It's your dishes. It's your laundry. It's the different things that are kind of on that weekly basis. So Emery loves you with can't standing putting up laundry. Maybe even take the emotion out of the laundry. Why show up for something every week and say, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this. Hating it is not going to make it go away. You're going to have to do laundry unless you make so much money that you can pay somebody else to do your laundry. And seriously, if you want to do that, go for it. But reframe it in a way that you're like, oh yeah, I just have to do the laundry. Take your energy out of it, because the energy you put into hating doing your laundry is energy you're wasting on that you won't have when you're done with the laundry. It's like having gas in your tank. Like you're spending your energy there instead of keeping that energy for the cool stuff you want to do. So do your chores, your recurring chores, with as little emotional attachment as possible. Just be like, yeah, this is just something I have to do. I'm looking over at my dishes. I don't particularly care to do the dishes, but they show up all the time. Save the energy in your life for the good stuff. It's like people, don't waste your energy on things you don't care about. Keep your energy for the things that when you're done with your laundry, then what do I want to do with my life? What do I want to do? I have the energy now to do it. Okay? And yes, trust me, there are many things I can't stand to do in my life. But I have found a way to make them much simpler. I have also gotten help with it. Like if you have somebody in your life, like I will say this again, and I often see this, somebody, if you live in a house with more than one person, Don't try to saddle all of this yourself. If there's somebody else living in your house, no matter how old they are, unless they are an infant or so old and infirm they are bedridden, everybody can participate in the decluttering and the maintaining of the household because they all live there. It should not fall to one person, okay? And I will stand on that. Okay. I have PTSD with dishwashing. Oh, well, here's the funny, not funny, I'm going to be lighthearted about this. I don't know what horrible thing happened to you with dishwashing, so if there is seriously something where there was a trauma associated with dishes, work through that, get some help with that. What I will say is, more than likely, this is how I'm like, geez Louise, I just did the freaking dishes. It's time for me to do the dishes again? Like, I'll share this with you. I did a video the other day about me doing dishes. And then I did a video 2 days later about me doing dishes. And I was like, holy mother of God. I could do a video about doing dishes like every other day, because there are things in our lives, people, that just happen over and over again. Like, you have to go grocery shopping. You have to take a shower. You got to brush your teeth. So again, the PTSD phrase, Ms. Jules, is an emotionally charged statement about a process that doesn't deserve your emotion. Dishes have to get done if you want to have a decluttered home. So take the emotion out of it and just say to yourself, yeah, there's just stuff that I have to do over and over again. This is part of being human. I have to eat every day. I have to go to the bathroom every day. Like, there are certain recurring things. This is just one of them. And the quicker and easier I make it and the less dramatic I make it means that I have shortened my time doing what I don't want to do. And I've saved that energy, that emotional energy that I was charging the dishes with. I have held on to that, so when I'm done with the dishes, I'm going to go spend that energy on something I love doing. Okay? Yeah, you're going to be happier when it's done. You are. And here's the thing I want to also say is, again, this is the reason I do it as a road trip, because I never want you to be hating the entire journey only to get to the destination. That's not what it's about. What I will say is this. If each one of you today just took 20 minutes, you got off this thing and you said, you know what, I'm going to experiment with this and see how it feels, is you got off of this call and you got your timer, and if you're probably on your phone, and your phone has a clock and your clock has a timer. Set your timer for 20 minutes and then do anything in your house that's going to declutter it. Have at it. Decide what you want to do and do it for 20 minutes. When you are done, you have just had that feeling of working towards that exciting goal. You have now created, your house is more like you want it to be than it was 20 minutes ago. So enjoy the journey. Delight in the progress you're making. Delight in showing up for yourself and saying, this is the life I want and this is what I did to get there. Okay? So don't deny yourself. Don't make it hell and white knuckle it all the way to where you get to, and it's only about the destination. No. It's about the journey to the destination. It's about the road trip to the destination. And every day that you can find the joy in moving towards your destination, you will feel that bit of your destination during the day. Okay? Just want to give you that. Yeah, so the dread is just spinning your wheels. It's like you're sitting there. Okay, here's the funny thing, and I'll get to the one about overwhelmed with clothing. Picture yourself, and again, this is how I coach. Have you ever been in your car where you're sitting there in your driveway, and you are revving your engine, but you're in neutral? Like you're in park, and you are just stepping on the gas, but you're not going anywhere? You are emptying your gas tank. You are using up energy. That is what dreading, thinking, get out of your head and get into your body and literally start doing. Once you stop the thinking so much, and we all live up here all the time, but when you can coordinate your thinking and doing, the actual physical moving around your house and doing something, that immediately gets the stress out. It physically moves your body and it works it out of there, and it shows you that you can show up and do that stuff for you. Dreading, thinking about it and not doing it is just a waste of your precious energy. And don't we often feel exhausted by the end of the day, or I don't have energy to do what I want? It can be oftentimes that we have revved our engines for things that don't deserve it. And then by the time we want to get in drive and drive somewhere fun, we're out of gas and we're exhausted. So be careful of where you spend your energy. And don't spend it on things that are not important to spend your energy on, like mundane tasks. Even the more mundane and unemotional you can make your decluttering, it will just conserve your energy. Sometimes you will need to expend energy, but the less emotional energy you can attach to it, and you're like, this is just something I do. And when you show up and show up and show up, it becomes a habit and it goes to a different part of your brain. Like a lot of this is science-backed. I don't get into it, but a lot of it is science-backed, okay? Well, here we are, just sitting here thinking about the clothes I'm going to be getting rid of. I'm already stressing. Okay, so interesting thing. You're sitting there. You're not doing, so it's good. You're sitting and thinking. Sitting and thinking gives you stress. So what I would offer to you is this. What is the thought that is creating the stress? That you're going to, I don't know. Only you can answer what that thought is that's causing you stress. But here's the funny thing. There's a thought in you that's causing you stress, but it's because there's a little bit of dissonance, because there is part of you who has shown up and is watching this live about being decluttered, who is thinking about getting rid of clothes. So there's part of you who wants to do that. That's your co-pilot. That's your best you. That's the person who wants you to live that decluttered life. That's the person next to you when you're on a road trip who's like, where do you want to go? I don't care where you're going, but if you're excited to get there, I want to help you get there. That's the part of you. That's your co-pilot. That's me as your coach saying, yes, if you think it, you deserve to have it. If you think you want to live in a decluttered life and have fewer clothes, then yes, let's move towards that. The stress is the stuff that's like, oh no, she's going to do it. Quick, let's make her feel bad about it so she stops. She doesn't even start the journey. So pay attention to the stress thought. What is the thought? And dismantle it, And oftentimes just realize it's part of your brain that doesn't want you to change. And if you want to change, you can listen, you can hear those voices and say, all right, you're always going to be in the car with me. But you can also choose to get up and not sit and pick one piece of clothing and say, do I want this or not? And then you put it in a bag for the Goodwill. And then you pick up another one. Do I want this or not? And if you do want it, then you put it in a drawer or you hang it up or you put it in the laundry, whatever the thing is. And you do that for 20 minutes. And you even say to your backseat drivers, look, I'm only going to do this for 20 minutes. It's not like I'm going to spend the entire day doing this. But you show up and you keep the promise to your best self that this is the life you want to live. And when you show up and keep on keeping the promises to yourself, that becomes a good habit. Oftentimes when we are thinking we want to do something and we don't, it's because you make a promise to yourself, you see the idea, and then somehow your brain tells you can't do it. And I am here as a coach. This is what I do with you right now on this TikTok Live. And I do this with my one-on-one coaching clients where we talk specifically about your problems. And we create a solution that works for you, for your life, for your brain, is all about dismantling, listening to the thoughts in your head that are keeping you stuck, dismantling them like roadblocks so you're able to move forward towards that life you love. And when you do that, you're showing up for your best self, okay? Let's say. Getting started is always the hardest part. Yeah, it's just like starting your car. It's like going out there on a freezing cold morning. But once you get in there and you start it and your engine warms up, it's so much easier to keep on going once you get going. Getting started, it's like getting out of bed every day. Don't you want to be all, I was in my bed all comfy-wumpy this morning, but I thought, what's going to be fun is me helping people with their clutter because I know so many people are stuck with it. This is why I do it. Energy loves you. I'm not a mama. I can be a wicked cool aunt. And I guess I could be like a coach. I could be and this is what we do. This is what maybe we should have all been taught when we were growing up. I didn't learn it. I grew up in an cluttered ADHD collector household. I had to learn skills outside of my home that I realized that were applicable to work. But then when I realized I could use them at my house, suddenly my life and my house began to feel better. And it took me a really long time to do it. But since I've clicked on it, I am rabid. I'm so freaking excited to share what I've learned with people who are struggling because I know the struggle because I've been there. I have been the cause of it. I have lived in it, but I have also created the solution. And I want to help as many people as I can because it feels so much better when you're living in a house, in a home, in a body, in a life that you love. Okay? Okay, you have your own way of doing chores, and my husband micromanages and tells me I'm doing it wrong. Well, you know what you say to him? All right, if I'm doing it wrong here, why don't you do it instead? You know? And here's the funny thing. There's dynamics to people, and this is why, with the coaching, we get into this. If your way of doing it, and I've done it too, honestly, I've micromanaged my husband because I'm the decluttering coach and I think I do it better or not. Here's something that might help. It's like, I say to my husband, I don't care how you do it as long as it gets done. And you could say to your husband, do you care how I do this or do you want it done? If you want it done the right way, if the right way is your way, then you do it. This is how I do it and it gets done. Okay? There's definitely dynamics here, Yeah, my daughter is a minimalist. How? I don't know, because she's glad she's on her own. You know why? Courtney, if you're on this, you might be kind of cluttery. Minimalism is often a reaction towards clutter. Also, daughter implies that she's younger than you. If she was older than you, that would not work out. But a lot of times, the younger generations are seeing how our clutter and stuff weigh us down, and they don't want to live like that. And that's a generalization for an entire generation, but they see that it doesn't serve them. So they want to be minimalist, Oh, good. Nettie Johnson 8, I'm so glad that what I'm doing is helping you feel better. Now go and start deciding on what you want your life to look and feel like, fall in love with that, and then start moving towards that. Every time you're decluttering, have that picture in your mind of how you want your home to look and feel. Never take your eyes off of that destination, because you're going to get stuck in the difficultness. But then when you can look up and say, oh, that's right, I'm moving towards this, Okay, house is fine. Empty rooms are becoming closets, right? That happened to my house when I moved out. All of a sudden, my bedroom became a closet for my mother. Pay attention to why you have so much stuff that all of a sudden it doesn't fit in a closet. It fits in a room. And sort through your stuff, sort through your feelings about it. Why do you keep on buying things? Are you wearing all the clothes that you have? Typically, we wear 20% of our clothes 80% of the time. Have a conversation with yourself. Again, the thing I love about how I coach and why I do this, it's not just about get your house in order and then you'll be a robot and you'll have a house. No. It's about discovering who you are right now and what's important to you and releasing the things that don't fit that. So have a conversation with yourself. You have the control over whether from today on, whether that empty room continues to become a closet or if you start whittling stuff down if you want to. A thing might be too, think of something fun you would like to make that empty room into versus just a closet. Now, this is the crazy thing too in America or just wherever. Having more space makes it more difficult to be decluttered because you can accumulate so much more and you don't realize how much you have until you go down the basement and you're like, whoa. Like our basement, we have a tiny house. Well, a small house. It's not one of those tiny houses. Our basement is the entire footprint of our house because it's a ranch. And I used to collect stuff. I used to sell things I collected. So when we moved in here, we had 15 lamps and 3 couches. I was all into mid-century stuff. And so we had a ton of stuff down there. And so we didn't realize how much it was because we had the space for it. So be careful if your clutter, just because you have a big place, just be mindful of that you can hold a heck of a lot more stuff. And then if you ever need to move, if you die, somebody else is going to have to deal with that stuff. Okay, my husband just wants to throw everything away, and that makes me want to keep it even more. Yes, there's a dynamic there. And some people are more easily able to get rid of stuff. There are brains like that. My brain doesn't work that way. My brain is sentimental. My brain sees the value in things. My brain says, oh, I could do something good with that. But I do that and I'm able to declutter. So instead of saying everything away and you want to keep everything, break that down. And maybe there are some things where you guys can find some common ground to say, what are the things that we both mutually agree that we can release? Because then that will prove to yourself, Crystal Maine, that will prove to yourself that you can make a decision to release something so you don't have to keep everything. A lot of this is having a conversation with yourself about what's important. It's also about having a conversation with your husband. What's important to the two of you? What's important to you? What's important to him? And what are the things that you come together with to say, yeah, we both decide we don't need this. My husband and I did that recently, and we're both like, yeah. And it was cool to have that, to be like, yeah, you know what? We thought it was going to work. It didn't work. Oh, it was like a steamer. What do you call those? Like a pressure cooker thing that he really wanted last year for Christmas. And I was like, don't get it. He got it. He used it. And now he's like, meh. And now we can get rid of it. Have that conversation with him. So it's not an adversarial thing he wants to throw away and I want to keep. You find the mutual ground where you say, what are the things that we both agree that we can let go? Okay? Do you have certain times you do it? Here's the thing. I don't. I guess I should. This is the second time for Destiny 2 that somebody has asked me if I have certain times I am live. How about this? I think going live in the morning is important because this is when you start your day with motivation and inspiration. And yes, I'm going to make a difference. I am going to look on my calendar. I can't do it right now. But how about this? For this next week, I will show up every morning for like an hour to do this. And we'll see how it goes. I got to make sure that I don't have anything scheduled, like some coaching sessions and stuff with my clients. But I will say this, and if I do that, I will put, so follow, the best way to do this is to follow my TikTok page here. Like if you follow it, I think you're notified when I'm live. Also, if you follow it, I will do a post about when I'm going to be live this week. And I will do this. And maybe that will help. Okay? But for Destiny 2, if you have any questions, anybody who has any questions or things that they're stuck on with their clutter, I've been on here for an hour. This has been great fun. I will continue to be on as long as people have questions. So I'm here to help you. Like, here's the funny thing. Not to get too cosmic about it, but like, if you're struggling with something, with your clutter, your life, your stuff, and you have stumbled onto this live, this is a way of the universe saying there's help out there. There is help for you with what you're struggling with. All you need to do is say what you're struggling with, and there are people out there that will help you. So I am the person right now in front of you that knows clutter and stuff and collecting and organizing and process and ADHD and overwhelm and being stuck. I know all that inside and out because I lived it, I coach it, and I come to you from the other side saying it feels so effing good when you feel like you look around your house and you're like, I effing love this place. Everything you look at tells you a good story. You look around your life and you say, oh my God, I effing love my life. And I never thought I'd get here. I was miserable for the first 30 plus years of my life, and then it still took me another 20 plus to decide to get some help, get some coaching, read a freaking self-help book. It took me years. I mean, I had good stuff going on, do not get me wrong, but the consistent level of how much I love myself and I love my life on an everyday basis, you would have told me I was ridiculous. So what I will say to this is, you deserve that feeling. I don't want to keep it to myself. Me giving you the skills to get rid of your clutter doesn't mean I don't have them. It just means you get to also delight in the joy of being decluttered, about decorating a house however you freaking want to, you know? Whatever artwork you want to put up, whatever colors you want to paint your house, whatever clothing you want to wear, whatever activities you want to do in your life. I just realized too, I thought no comments were coming in, and then all of a sudden it went pew. So I thought I was talking to myself. Okay, yeah, don't wait for that feeling. Girl, FSHCH, I don't know how to pronounce it. Don't wait for that feeling. Sit down, go out in your car. I mean, it may be cold. Find a quiet place where you feel comfortable and you feel safe and it's quiet and you can just hang out with your brain. And when you sit and just imagine what it's going to feel like, picture it, how it's going to feel, look at it, you're going to feel it in your body and you will get a taste of how good that feels. So don't wait for that feeling. Spend the time creating that destination that you're so excited to get to, and then feel it. And then you're already on your road trip there, right? How do I start this as a career? Oh, I don't know. I'm making this shit up myself. But you know what? I'm helping people and I love doing that. Maybe you can help people in your life with it, you know? Yeah, Ashley Intuitive. Yeah, reach out. like there's my email and stuff like that. Reach out to me. Let's do a collab. I would love to do that. I will definitely not be in my pajamas. I promise you that. But I just woke up and I thought I would help people. Okay. All right. Okay, cool. I'm just scrolling back just so you know what I'm doing. I just want to make sure I don't miss anything because I want to help everybody. Okay. I see. I'm so glad you stumbled upon it too. Yeah, exactly. Ball in his court. Exactly. So I'm not a sporty person. I know tennis players, but seriously, put the ball on somebody else's court. Put it on them. I love doing that. How do you declutter when you love every knick-knack? Okay, here's what I'll offer about that is being a collector myself, being a person who was also an art history major and, museum studies and things like that. There are things you like. All your knickknacks still do not have the same energy. Some of them you like more than others. So if you think you love every knickknack, that's cool. Go in and say, which ones are my favorites? Pull out the favorites. Then see the ones that you're kind of like meh about. And the ones that you're kind of meh about might be the ones that you don't love. Only surround yourself. Every time you do this, it's like you are getting rid of a lower layer of crap that it elevates everything else around you so that you're only surrounded by the stuff that like lights you up. Not the stuff that you're like, meh, I don't know, I got that at the dollar store, it's okay. You're like, oh my God, check this out. Like even over here, this little salt shaker, this used to be owned by my aunt. And not only great aunt, actually, who I loved very much. I remember her using it. I also like using salt, and it works really well. So like just surround yourself by the stuff you love. I have had to help declutter deceased relatives' house. I think if I died, I would be so embarrassed. Yes, I have had to do that too. Get yourself started now. I have a book that I just got out of the library, and I've read it before, but I'm going to do it again to help people. There's a book out there that might help you, help all of us actually, called The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning. And it's all about getting your shit together so other people don't have to deal with your shit. And pardon me, when I coach, if I get excited, I do tend to use some potty mouth. Get your act together before you die. Deal with your stuff and start sooner than later. Like, here's the deal. My grandmother died when she was 101. My mother is 82 and is healthy as a horse. I am only in my mid-50s, but I have that longevity in my family. So I am starting now so that my stuff is not a burden to my nieces and nephews as I get older. Okay? So start now. What do we do with our empty space? What do you want to do? Have that conversation with yourself. Allow it to be empty and wait for inspiration. I use this as a perfect example. My husband and I, in many parts of our room, we have tons of artwork and stuff hanging all over the place, but we have a hallway. When we did some repainting, we left the hallway blank, and in my studio, when I do my videos, there's a blank wall next to me. It's not blank because like I could easily go down to like Home Goods and find something and stick it up there and be like, yeah, it's done, but I don't want that. I am waiting for something that I'm like, oh, that would be perfect. And then I'm not kidding you. We had some paintings that I had purchased unexpectedly to get delivered. I had completely forgotten about it on Friday. And then when I opened them up, there's this one set of 4 that my husband and I both said, oh my God, those would look perfect in the hallway. So sometimes leaving yourself space is also just a nice calming feeling. So try that. Okay. No. Here, calm down, lucky lady, little lucky lady. Your anxiety is rising. It's so much work. It's paralyzing. It's not that much work. Your anxiety is showing you, that's your backseat drivers revving you up and freaking you out. Calm them the F down. Tell them it's okay. It's not that much work. It is work. And it's paralyzing. You're not paralyzed. You could stand up. I mean, granted, this is going to be awful if you are actually in a wheelchair and paralyzed. But you could get up right now. You could set your timer for 5 minutes and you could move around and declutter some stuff right now. That's your backseat drivers keeping you stuck because all of a sudden you have realized that you might want to get decluttered, and that means you're going to change. And your backseat drivers don't want you to change. So they are throwing shit in front of you in the road in front of you, getting to that destination of being decluttered. They are throwing rocks in front of you so you don't move forward. They are onto you, but you are onto them, okay? You have 6 older kids, and I am a sentimental collector. I am a sentimental collector too. I have no children. Depending upon what you collect sentimentally, especially if you have older kids, involve them in the process. because they are going to, whether you give it to them now as, hey, would you like this? Or if you die, they are going to have to deal with your stuff in your home. So help them out with it. Do not be a burden, right? Involve yourself in this. And if they say, hey, Mom, I know that you collected that thing, but it's not doing it for me, do not take it as a sign that they don't love you, that you were giving it to them and they don't want it. You were thinking of them. They will not forget you. They don't love you any less because they don't like to collect what you like to collect. My dad liked to collect all sorts of random things that don't do it for me. It doesn't mean that I don't love my dad any less simply because I don't collect swirly candlesticks and duck decoys. Okay? So there's that. So yeah. Thank you for telling me I'm making a difference. This is why I showed up in my pajamas on a cold Sunday morning. This is what I do for coaching too. And this is why I am doing these lives, because I want to reach out. I want to connect with people. I want to find the people that are struggling with their clutter so I can help you a little bit on this live. But then honestly, I want to give you a taste for my voice, how I show up, how I explain things. I know how much it made a difference to me when I read a self-help book, and I know exactly what it is. And it wasn't even a self-help book. I was on a treadmill in my basement, and I was listening to a random podcast, and I heard an author speak where I was like, she is funny. She is saying things that are cracking me up, and she's saying things that the way she phrases them clicks with me. And she wasn't saying anything new under the sun. I am not saying anything new under the sun. I happily admit that. But what I'm saying is the way that I'm saying it, I hope that how I present it reaches the right people that are like, yes, I would like working with her. I understand how she says things, how she does pop culture humor, and she's talking about a road trip, and she's treating me like a best friend, and how I coach. Everybody has their own coaching styles in the way they dress and the way they show up. This is how I show up. As I said earlier, definitely I will not be in my pajamas. I will be in a hoodie and a t-shirt because I wear that all the time. But this gives you maybe a flavor of what it would be like to have a one-on-one coaching relationship, because I coach on Zoom. So I'm never in your house. I am on Zoom with you, and we have a conversation. And then we make a plan, and I help you create your destination. And when you work on your plan, I say, rock on. This is awesome. I high five you, and we reinforce that good stuff. And when all of a sudden you thought you were going to do something and the plan didn't work, we get curious, and we say, ooh, why didn't that work? Let's try something else. And then we find a plan that works for you and your life and your brain and your body and all of the things that are particular to you that I can't obviously cover when I'm talking to everybody. And then once we find a plan that seems to work for you, I work for you with 10 weeks so that it gives you the opportunity to almost have driving lessons with somebody in the car the whole time. So you practice and practice and practice, and then you get a little bit of a tip here and a tip there, and you're doing great. And what this does, it just gets you into the routine of being a decluttered person and gives you the support during the decluttering of the stuff that's accumulated. And it allows your brain to take what you're learning from the part that you always have to think about it and just create a new neural pathway to create it into the habit part of your life. That's what coaching does. That's what I do. If you're interested in that, get on my mailing list. There's a mailing list on my website. You get a free habit tracker. You can sign up for a consultation. We could start coaching. Literally, we could start our one-on-one coaching session tomorrow. And in 10 weeks, your life will be completely, awesomely, so much better. All right? That's a little infomercial part of it. All right. My weight changes, so I have different sizes. Hard to give up. That's okay. Maybe here's the deal. Know that about you, and just make room for the clothing that is of the different weights. Maybe hang up or put the stuff in regular rotation of the stuff that fits you now. Identify the clothing that's either too small or too big. Put the too smalls in a bin and store it away until you need it. Put your larger clothes in a bin and store that away. That's okay. Oh, I just woke up and already you motivated me to clean out your closet. Rock on. Annie B. Watchin', you got this. I just decided, somebody was asking if I show up for lives regularly. I'm going to show up this whole week, I guess. I'm going to check my calendar. I'm going to show up every week. So tune in again in one of these mornings and let me know how it goes. My closet is my really bad space. It only has one short shelf, which I think is the issue. I love how you have identified that sometimes it is the way that these closets are poorly designed. So See, you have the answers already. What I would recommend, what I would suggest is think about, first of all, before you start rejiggering what's the configuration of your closet, get clear on exactly what you want to store in there and what the best way is to store it. For example, if it's a clothing closet, do you hang stuff? Okay, I need a pole. Do you want to have drawers? Okay, or are there totes? Or could you use some more shelves? If you had some more shelves, what would you put on the shelves? But it's good to identify that. My husband and I actually did that. We had 2 little dinky closets in our house that had been there since it was built in the 50s. And we actually decided to have somebody, because we can't do this, we knocked them both out. We made it one big closet. And then they have these inserts at IKEA that you can assemble. So it's got like a place to hang and some drawers. It's awesome. So that's good that you identify it. Yes, the universe is saying it's time. Yay. Okay, I clean my room and then it happens again and again because I have too many clothes. Yeah, and also here, frankly, and I say this with love because it's just how it is, you also just have habits that keep you cluttered. And cluttering coaching shows you your habits, and then we change those habits into ones that keep you not cluttered. I really needed this morning. See, there you go. You can listen to this stuff. Yeah, anything that gets you going. This is why I show up. I'm like the fuel in your tank. I'm the motivator. Like, I would love this to be like, I can do this is like a powerful, that is like gold, Jerry. That is like gold. So I want to give that to you. I want to share that with the world. You can do this, okay? Let me see. Let me see what I'm missing. Oh, okay, there's a bunch of them. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get to everybody. Okay. Yay. Thank you for all the likes, everyone. Yeah, this is cool. Okay. Oh, thank you for liking my delivery. This is how I deliver it. And this is why I do these lives, because I want people to know, like, if how I do it doesn't float your boat, that's okay. I want to connect to the people who get what I'm doing and it's helping them. So thank you for letting me know. Backseat drivers, it's so true now. 5 and 6 in college, they can't take items yet, but you can still involve them in their process. You can ask them right now, what are the things, and this helps them. You see, this is the thing. When you learn a skill from me, like I will say to you, identify the things that light you up and the things that make you feel like crap, right? You get green light in your heart, you get red light in your belly near where your poop goes, and then you get the middle that's kind of whatever. When you start to be able to identify that stuff in your own life, you can teach that skill to your college kids so that they also can be like, I don't know, how do I feel about this? Do I want this? And you help them have this skill so they can then make those decisions as they're growing up, How do you recommend starting when you have a bunch of clutter? I would say this, just start with the surface clutter, start with the easy stuff, and then you work your way to the more deep stuff. So surface clutter is stuff that's on, think of any horizontal surface in your home, all the way from the floor to a table, to a counter, to a bureau top, to tabletops. Start with that stuff. Put the trash in the trash, put the recycles in the recycles, put the stuff away that has a home, put the stuff in the rooms that it belongs in, and maybe just start with one room that makes you feel good, that gives you that sense of accomplishment. The other thing I also recommend too, before you, and I always forget this myself, even when I'm doing my own decluttering, but take before pictures. Take a before picture so you can pretend you're on HGTV, and then you get to delight in the after, okay? Yeah, feeling better and don't feel so bad about myself. This is what it's all about, Charlie Brown. I'm so glad you're not feeling bad about yourself, because you shouldn't feel bad about yourself, but we often always do. So I'm glad I'm helping you not feel bad about yourself. Yeah, donating and throwing out the parents thing. I'm doing a whole video series on this because I have helped people with this, and people of a generation. I'm Gen X, and even like whomever. Even if we don't want to, like if we have parents that are living in a home and there's stuff in that home, whether you want to or not, you're going to have to deal with it. So I'm going to help you with that. Okay. Oh, the book is called The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning. Yeah, and the backseat drivers, yeah, just put them in their place. But also, I will say this, pretend you're in the car. They're going to be in your car for the rest of your life, so treat them with kindness so that they don't get all freaked out because you yelled at them and then they're going to explode later, okay? I keep things to make money at yard sales or to give away to less fortunate people. Awesome. Go make the money at the yard sale and give them away to less fortunate people. And if you're doing that, that's great. Rock on with your bad self. My house is small. I need to turn my great room and dining room into my studio. I am afraid. See, this is the thing, you guys. Remember I was talking about your backseat drivers? Your backseat drivers are really just the word fear. Again, if this is one takeaway I could give you, is think about it. Fear is in the backseat. Love is your co-pilot. So when you say I'm afraid, what are you afraid of? And just listen for that. And it's probably I'm afraid of making change. And that's why that's what it's all about. So just be curious about that. Fear keeps you stuck. Love moves you forward to where you want to go. Somebody's still in bed, rock on. I would be on my bed too. I do this. This is why I showed up early, because I figured people would be in bed. Oh, there we go. Yeah, these are my spotty PJs. I got these ones, and I call it my writing robe because I wear it all the time, so I'm not always going to the bath. But yes, and I've got my cup of tea. There we go. Yeah, good. Yay. I'm so glad I'm inspiring people. And this is why I show up in the morning, because yeah, when you have that inspiringness in you, when you get up in the morning, it's going to set the tone for your whole day, and you're going to do more better things, because there are seeds that have been planted in your subconscious mind about the possibility of you living that awesome decluttered life. And even if you don't know it, if you water it, it will bloom. Okay. What else? Glad it's helpful. See, that's good. Labeling bins with sizes. There are things that work for people. That's great. Okay, so yes, so the interesting thing is used to be organized in a traumatic event, and then somehow I'm a hoarder. Of course, because you know what? We keep things around us to keep us safe and protected. We don't want to feel trauma again. We don't want to feel hurt. So this keeps us secure and buffered. Do you notice even my body language is we're protecting our hearts. We are surrounding ourselves by things. I get that. What I will say is this. Depending upon what your traumatic event is, I don't want to comment on a public space, but I will say, get some professional help to work through your trauma. And when you do that, that will help you with your hoarding and your releasing. You'll be able to, when you process it and you realize that you can work through it and be okay, you might loosen your grip on some of the stuff that you're trying to surround yourself to keep yourself safe, okay? And I say this with love and compassion, because I don't know what you're going through, but definitely as humans, we try to protect ourselves. We try to surround ourselves with stuff so we don't feel hurt. And so you're doing that. You're doing what you can, what you know how to do, but get some help with it, okay? All right. Oh, I'm glad I'm motivating people. Oh, yeah, perfectionism. Oh, you know what? Just perfectionism is another thing that you throw a roadblock in front of you. You're saying if it's not going to be perfect, we must not. Just try for better. Just try for better. I want it to be better. Nothing is ever perfect. There's always going to be faults in everything. So just calm down your backseat drivers by saying, you know what? How about this? I'm just gonna try for better. Kind of lower the expectations. Get them to calm down. So you're just moving forward towards better, and that will get you started. Okay? Okay, last night my child told me he didn't want to live with me anymore because of the clutter. Okay. You know what I say to that? I say, do you want your kid to live with you? If the answer is yes, then deal with your clutter. What's more important, some crap you bought at Target or your relationship with your child? If you need help with your clutter, that is why I am here. This is why I do stuff. This is why I do one-on-one coaching. So start to pay attention to why you have clutter. And if your destination is, I want to live in a clutter-free home happily with my child, that sounds like a worthy thing to work through your clutter with, Awesome. I came across a count yesterday. It motivated me to clean the room 3 hours, but I did it. Rock on. The cool thing about that, Karen Brown, too, is you probably were dealing with a lot of backlog of clutter. That's why it took so long. The thing I want to remind people of is just because it takes you a long time to get decluttered, you're starting from however long, however many's you have, is the next time you do that room, it will not take as long. What I recommend, though, too, is depending upon, I don't know what your clutter habits are. Here's the thing I'm going to offer. It's going to sound like an infomercial, but it comes from a sincere place. Is go to my website, destinationdecluttered.com/join. Put your email in, get on my mailing list, because it automatically will send you this habit tracker that there's 2 of them. One you can fill out yourself if you want to make some good habits of yourself and show up every day and do it. But the other one that's really helpful is the one that I put pre-populated 10 things that are surface clutter to just remind yourself of to do every day. Like put your keys away, hang up your coat, put your clothes in a hamper, different things like that to teach yourself to be decluttered. Not just about the decluttering, it's about the little everyday things, the little everyday habits you have to stop the clutter from building up again so that you have to spend 3 hours. But rock on with your bad self for doing that. I became a pack rat when my husband got laid off. Of course you did. You were afraid. What the hell? I get that. But here's the thing. Yes, just in case. But I don't know what your situation is now. But take a look at yourself, and instead of being afraid that you don't have enough, say, I do have enough. And I feel like I can let go some stuff. What's some easy stuff I can let go of? And here's what I want to offer too, is that situation, that feeling of not feeling like you have enough. What do you have too much of that you could help somebody else who's feeling that way? We often think we don't have enough, but we have so much more than other people. What can you easily release and not feel like you're deprived, but also what you're releasing could make such a huge difference in somebody else's life? That extra can of beans, those foods that are in your pantry, you could give them to a food pantry. You haven't eaten them in months. You could give that to a food pantry so a family could eat tonight. Just saying. What makes people hoard? A lot of things. Trauma, your brain, feeling lack, feeling unloved, buying the stuff they didn't have when they were a kid, getting the dopamine rush from going and getting a bargain or finding something. Oh, it's all up here and in here because you're human. Oh, awesome. I'm glad you signed up for a consult. Okay, cool. When I get off of this, I'll set it up. You'll get some emails for me. That will be wonderful. Before pictures. Okay, before pictures. Yeah. You know why? You've seen these HGTV shows. Pretend you're in your own one and delight in the fact that you're working towards the after. The reason I talk about before pictures is because that shows you. Even you take a before picture, right? It's math, people. It's just math. You take a before picture. Then you declutter for 20 minutes in one place. You take another picture 20 minutes later. You have made progress. There is a positive, difference in there. Your brain, your backseat drivers, if you don't take pictures, your backseat drivers are going to be like, you didn't make any progress. This wasn't worth it. You're never making any progress. This is not going to help. But when you have a picture to say it looked like this, and now it looks better 20 minutes later, then you will keep on going. Because they can't fight. It's evidence. It's factual evidence that you can't make it up. They're going to convince you, but you're going to I got evidence. I get evidence that it looked worse then. Now it looks better. And the next time I start, I'm going to start from here. And then it's going to look better and better and better. And you never have to show anybody. The only person you have to show your before pictures to is if you and I were in a coaching situation and I was coaching you. And the only reason you show it to me is because I'm a trusted source. But I also need to see what we're dealing with so I can help you. That's it. And you can throw them away anytime you want, but keep them to remind yourself of your progress. It's like starting on a road trip. You take a picture when you began. Like, here's the beginning of my journey. Oh. Well, you know what, Danielle, your mom died 22 years ago and you can't get rid of her stuff. You miss her so much that you should, well, my heart goes out to you. There's nothing wrong with missing your mom. But what I will say is, and I say this with love, is if her stuff that you have, like you can get rid of all of that stuff and you will still, your mom will still live on in your heart. She doesn't live in the stuff. She lives in your heart. And when you go through her stuff, you could do this, is every time you see a thing that was hers, you can take it out of the box and you can remember the story. And you extract the story from the thing and you put the story in your heart. Or you write it down in a book. Or you take a picture of the thing. Your mom would not want you to be living a life that you don't love. And if your life is weighed down by the clutter of her, she's looking down on you and saying, honey, no, I always will be with you. Let it go and live a life you love. Okay? There you go. Perfectionism, yeah, just aim for better. Yeah. Good morning, I retired. I still dream of working. Then work. Having a purpose is fun. Find something that lights you up, that you feel like you're enjoy with. Twiddling your thumbs is not the way to spend the days that are left. Choose the thing you love to do, you know? Okay. Feels disrespectful to get rid of the precious moments dolls. Here's what I do. So my dad collected a wicked lot of stuff, and my dad died in 2010. What I look at is he had a lot of fun when he was alive collecting the stuff he did. I'm so glad my dad had that fun collecting it, but that doesn't mean I need to keep his collections. The Precious Moments dolls, maybe you could sell them. I don't know. I doubt it. But go online, go to eBay, do a little search. Are they worth money? You could sell them. Or you could donate to somebody else that may be also collecting them, and you may be providing those missing parts of their collection that light them up, much like your mom when she collected the Precious Moments dolls. We also come from a generation where our generation and the generations before us did a lot of this collecting, and we're going to have to deal with that. So you're not being disrespectful for passing along your mother's Precious Moments dolls to somebody else who may delight in them. They are obviously not delighting you, or else you wouldn't be mentioning them. Get them to somebody who would love them. There you go. Okay, backseat drivers are fear. They don't want you to change. They are doing their, okay, this is how I describe it. Have you ever been in the car with little kids in the backseat and you want to go someplace new and you know that they're going to love, and they just want to go through McDonald's drive-thru and have nuggets, right? I used to write about diners and road tripping, so I would take my little nieces and nephews. I'd say, we're going to go to this vintage diner. We don't want to go to a vintage diner. What the hell is that? It was new and it was new and different, and they didn't know about it. They knew about going through McDonald's drive-thru and getting nuggets, all they wanted, right? And so they will do anything to stop you from going someplace that they're afraid of. And they're afraid of it because they're afraid of change, right? So what I want to offer is, if you are stuck, that is because you have allowed your backseat drivers to tell you where to steer your life. This is how I work. I work in coaching motif of driving and road tripping. So what I want to offer to you is the backseat drivers that you thought were the only voices in your head because they talk to you all the time and they keep you stuck. They're not the only voice in your head. You also have a co-pilot next to you. Co-pilot is pretty quiet because the kids are always yakking, but your co-pilot is there as 100% pure love. Now, this can be God, this can be the universe, this can be source, this can be spirit, this can be your best friend on a road trip. Your co-pilot, your internal co-pilot, I model that behavior when we're in coaching. Like right now, pretend I am in the car next to you. And I say to you, where do you want to go? And you're like, I want my house to be decluttered. I'm like, let's do it. What can we do to get you there? I will do everything I can to quiet down the kids in the back seat so that you can move forward towards your destination, and I will support you, and you have that in you. The fact that you're watching this thing about being decluttered is your co-pilot showing up and saying, see, there's some good stuff here. You could do this. So fear in the backseat, love is your co-pilot. Drive forward to where you love. I'm a hoarder without traumatic experience. Okay, you probably like to collect stuff because it's fun. You get a dopamine rush, and you like a bargain. You like to collect things. You like to see matches. And maybe you just don't have enough place, like you don't have storage. So that's okay. Learn what you do. And the fact that you're saying I'm a hoarder, that kind of has a negative connotation. So you may have a negative connotation to your stuff. So examine what would make you feel better about the amount of stuff you do have. Okay? This is funny. My husband just woke up. So in case you heard some coughing and some rumbling, I probably woke him up. Did you answer? See, I'm missing. There's so many questions. I'm sorry. Don't believe much. There was something about you've gone live. Oh, it's so funny. You say don't take a break. I'm going to take a break in like a half an hour. So overwhelmed means that it's too big. Look at it smaller. Just start smaller. Okay. Okay. Digital clutter, unopened emails. Yeah. If there's an emails you haven't unopened, ask why you haven't opened them, and then delete them. And start afresh and unsubscribe from everything. Try not to go shop anymore. I don't need any more stuff, but I get the dopamine rush. Yes, the dopamine rush keeps us motivated. What I will say is this, though. You will get a dopamine rush by getting rid of stuff. You'll be like, check me out. Check me out. Look what I did. Woo. You just need to find different places in your life that you can get that same feeling. It doesn't always have to be shopping. Okay? That admits I'm never going back to my old self. No, it isn't. You're bringing the best parts of you forward with you. You're evolving. You're evolving. What you're doing is you're leaving the not so great stuff that you want to leave behind. That's all. I'm sorry, you guys. This is so wonderful that there are so many people showing up. I'm going to be here for the next 25 minutes. I am going to take a sip of my tea, which is now turned into iced tea. And I apologize that there are so many questions that I may not get to yours, but what I will say is this. Please like and follow my TikTok page, because then I will do videos that probably will address most of what you say. Morning, boo-boo. The other thing is to, get on my mailing list, because here's a fun thing. I kind of forgot about this. The people on my mailing list, once a month, I do a free Zoom call where you get to have a little FaceTime with me, because this is all about getting some coaching, but also seeing what it's like to be coached, in the hopes, frankly, I'm going to be totally transparent, in the hopes that you would say, God, wouldn't it be awesome to just have her in my life even an hour a week for 10 weeks? It would make such a difference. I'm going to pay for coaching. I'm going to show up because I want my life to be better. That's why I do this. Okay, I'm helping you now. And if you want one-on-one coaching with me, I do that too. I lost my brother, sadly, became a hoarder. Got overwhelmed, and now the kid can't handle all the clutter. Okay, yes, there's a lot to unpack there. And we hoard things because we want to stop ourselves from feeling pain. But now sounds like you're going to, your kid is getting overwhelmed by the clutter. There is a lot to unpack there. Kai's Wagon Mama, and I can never pronounce people's things, so I apologize. But what I want to offer is, that is horrible that you lost your brother. You will never forget your brother. He lives in your heart. You tried to help yourself knowing what you needed to do, which was collecting things around you to buffer yourself from pain. But now you doing that, you know that isn't working, because now it's causing your son to be away. So think about how you can deal with your clutter. And if you need help with it, I offer coaching. Think about how you can whittle away your clutter so you actually have a good relationship with your kid and he doesn't want to move out. Okay? Okay. Weight and yo-yo, recurring motif. Keep the clothes for a certain amount of time. Keep them and say, these are my big clothes. These are my small clothes. These are the clothes that I wear right now. And let yourself off the hook. But just don't have them in the constant, put them away neatly. Decide what you do want. The other thing I will offer too is, also be okay with what your body's like. I have clothes that were pre-pandemic, pre-menopause. I had this whole set of really cute dresses that I had made for myself when I did this video series about my traveling. I don't fit into them anymore. And my body's changing, and that's okay. So it took me a while, but I released them. I actually sold them, and I made some money. Okay, dopamine rush, digital clutter. Yep, digital clutter is its own thing. Figure out why you're keeping it. Yep, thank you for helping. I saw the thing about delete tote bin. Yeah, we have a tote bin that's my father-in-law's dead dad shit. If it isn't in your way, I don't know what to tell you. Some of the stuff, here's the thing, you will never get to perfect when you're decluttering. There will always be stuff that you're like, I don't know what to do with this. And oftentimes it is that stuff that is the most sentimental. What decluttering does, though, is it declutters so many other areas of your life that one bin that you don't know what to deal with is okay. Don't beat yourself up about it. What else? Yeah, don't leave a bunch of clutter for your kids. I moved in with my parents after a divorce. I have 2 young children, and their clutter is unsafe. Yeah, so it's really hard to declutter somebody else, but maybe have a conversation with your parents and say, do you mind if I help declutter? I'm following this lady on TikTok, and she's giving me some tips. Can I try them out? Your parents have clutter for the same reason we all do. They're working through some issues. They have bad habits about being decluttered. They're getting a dopamine rush from shopping. They maybe didn't have enough when they were growing up, so they feel like it's safe to have stuff around them. They have their own issues with the clutter. So maybe by you learning about it with me, you can then kind of help them with it, knowing a little bit more of the backstory. Okay? I want to help my mom, but I don't want to be disrespectful. I will say this. If you come across, I'll be honest with you. You know it. If somebody comes at you judgy and why don't you clean up your shit? Somebody's going to dig their heels in and be like, F you, it's my stuff. I can do whatever I want. If you come to your mom with love and compassion in your heart and truly say, Ma, I see all this clutter. I did this with my own mother. I can help you with this. Would you like some help with it? Would it make you feel better? How can I help you with this? Show up with your heart open and your motive sincere, that you love your mother and you want her to feel better about her stuff. And see how that happens. Okay? Excellent. I love it. The Swedish Dying Book. Yes, I totally didn't hear. No. This is what I do. Use or whatever. I did recommend the Swedish Dying Book. Do you have a library near you? Get it out of the library. Why add to your clutter when you're trying to do the clutter? I don't know what the workbook is, so I can't comment on it. There you go. Hey, happy birthday, Cousin Adam. I can't pronounce that. Sorry. But if your Cousin Adam and you, AstroWolf33, have problems with decluttering, I can totally help you with that. I'm going to be here for the next 20 minutes. My name is Beth. I'm the Decluttering Life Coach, because it's not just about decluttering your home. It is, but it's about discovering you and deciding what is important to you in your life. And also when you declutter, you make space and time in your life for what's important to you. So you're not always decluttering, you're not always shopping, that you actually get to go and actually do some cool things with your life as opposed to being weighed down by stuff. Okay? So that's what we do there. Let me see what other comments we have here. All right, we get a little bit of a break here, so I'll just remind you, please like my page here because it helps you know when I'm going live. I've decided, crazily enough, that I will go live every morning this week for a week to, if you have accountability, you need some motivation. We'll see how that goes. Okay, my dresser is a mess, and it's so messy I can't face it. How do I motivate myself? That is an overwhelmed statement. You're overwhelmed by it. You can't even start. You motivate yourself by saying, wouldn't it look so cool to have this dresser be not as messy? Take a picture of it the way it's messy, and then show up. Start with the top of it. What's on the top of it? Put those things away. If you don't have enough room for what needs to go away, you need to sort your stuff and find what fits and what doesn't, and then reward yourself. Yeah, messy nests around the house. Yeah, so here, bad habit. Love it. Adult slime that you just said. It's just a habit. You have a bad habit, you can change it into a better habit. We look through your habits when I am coaching in a one-on-one session, and we talk about what's going to work for you. You've got a bunch of 99-cent mini trash cans. If that helps you, that's great. What I find is to have fewer surfaces, fewer containers, and that forces me, that has just retrained my habit to be like, no, that just goes to this one, whatever works for you, as long as it works for you and it gets you to the result you want, rock on with your bad self. I never try to do a one-size-fits-all thing. What works for me may not work for you, but what I do is I offer what has worked for me and for other clients, and we use that as a starting point. And then when you go through it and we find out when you're not showing up to do it, we tweak it until it works for you so that you will continually show up. You track your habits, and then you get it so it's not in the part of your brain where you need to think about it. It's just in the new habit part. Okay? Cluttered with clothes, papers from the past. Yeah, papers and clothes and all sorts of things. I talked about this yesterday on the live that I did. It hasn't come up today, so I will remember this, or I will mention this. Papers that you keep. There's going to be sentimental papers, and there's going to be boring, like paperwork papers. Boring paperwork papers, honestly, you could probably pitch them right away, but if you don't want to do that, what I recommend is find a box, put the year on it, 2023, and every time you get something that you think is important that you need to save, don't bother filing it. Don't get too picky. I don't get too picky when I am teaching you how to be decluttered, because I don't want you like alphabetizing your sock drawer. I want you put your socks in your drawer and then go off and live your life. So what I would say is this: take a box, open up the stuff, take away, throw away, recycle the envelope, recycle all the papers in there that don't matter, and then just put it in a box. If you need it, you know it's going to be in the box. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Can't watch the live at work. Will they be taped? I don't know if I can tape them. I'll figure that out. And yeah, that's the funny thing about doing them during the day versus doing them. I know that people have to work. Maybe I'll do one at night. You know what I'll do? Here's the deal. Just follow I'm kind of making, can you tell I'm just making this up as I go along? And I mean that in the best way because it's fun. I will say this. I will take a look at my calendar. And if you follow my Destination Decluttered TikTok page, I will do a video and I will pin it to the top that says when I'm going to show up to do another one of these. Because I want to show up when it's going to help the most people. Obviously, on the weekends, we all get to sleep in a little bit more relaxed. If you're at work, I totally get you're not doing that. One quick starting tip to declutter. Yes. How about this? How about this? Sit down in your clutter and like make a circle with your arms, and then anything that you can put your hand on, either throw it away, recycle it, or put it back where it belongs. And then when that whole circle has been done, move to another circle. How's that for fun, you know? Got a garage full of my passed away father's stuff. Okay, that can be overwhelming. I get it. What I would recommend is just factor in some time to do it, but get your brain in the right mindset. You're not going to show up if you tell yourself it's going to be painful and overwhelming and never get done. But if you say to yourself, this is going to be so great because we get to connect with what made your father-in-law so great. These are the things he loved. These are the things he owned. And we get to reconnect with him. We get to feel like we're hanging out with him a little bit. And then we get to create space in our garage for what we want, even if that's nothing, even if it's just space. And we get to help move the things that he wanted towards somebody else who might benefit from it. So it's all about your destination. If you learn one thing, that's so the reason I call it destination decluttered. Because if you have a cool destination in your brain, you will go through a journey that's not so comfortable or you're not looking forward to because you want to get to that destination. Okay? Hope that helped. Hard to stay focused. Yeah. So I would say this with the hard to stay focused thing, set a timer on your phone for 20 minutes. Do it for 20 minutes. Say to yourself, I'm only going to do it for 20 minutes. And when the 20 minutes goes off, high five yourself. You got a dopamine rush. Congratulate yourself. You can do 20 minutes more, or you can say, hey, check me out. I showed up more than I did yesterday. You know? What do we got going? I'm glad you like this TikTok. I need help. I don't know where to begin. Where to begin with the things that you don't care about. Put your trash in the trash can. Put your recycles in the recycle bin. Put stuff away. If you need help and you want one-on-one coaching, sign up for my mailing list. Get on my, schedule a consultation. Let's get in a one-on-one coaching process together, and I can help you specifically with your specific thing so that in 10 weeks, your life would look so much different than it looks now. You would be amazed. Okay. Focusing on unimportant things. Okay, I could post it on YouTube. Good. Thank you, Veronica. I appreciate that. Didn't even think about that. I kind of like this interaction, though. To me, it loses something when it is done. But I'll suss it out. But thank you for I appreciate that. She'd find me Q-tip cleaning baseboards while sitting in laundry. Yeah. You know what? We have been there. We have done that. You can be overwhelmed with stuff. I help you when we're working together, and it's interesting that you found that, is create priorities. And oftentimes, and I will say this, I don't know if you have ADHD, but sometimes people do. They think that every task is like number one on the list. They can't hierarchy things. And I have a fun way to help you do that. It refers to the Brady Bunch. I am a Gen Xer, so I speak in pop culture. But coaching will help you do that. Coaching will help teach you how to better prioritize what you're doing so that you get to your destination faster. Okay? Hope that helps. All right. Yes, you have to redirect your hyperfocus. So that might be a thing where you setting your timer really works because you can get into the zone and then do it on the right thing. And then, it might temporarily get you out of the zone, but you can go right back in when you reset it again. And it's all about, this is a great thing, ADHD. I know this firsthand experience. The ADHD brain does wonderful things that regular neurotypical brains do not do. So what I want you to do is harness that hyper focus and focus it on an area that's going to get you to where you want to go to. And I keep on pointing up here because I see the little thing that says destination decluttered. It's going to do that. So when we coach together, again, we work with a system that works with your unique brain so that you make really, really good progress towards what you want your life to look and feel like. Okay? Again, I'll be here for another 11 minutes. I will show up, and it may not be in the morning. I'm going to figure it out. I promise I'm going to post on my TikTok page. I'm going to pin something on my TikTok page today after I've taken a shower to say when I'm going to be doing another TikTok live. But do this, please. Please hit like on my page. That way you'll be notified about it. Also, seriously, I have an email mailing list, and when you sign up for it at destinationdecluttered.com/join, it's only your email address. Wouldn't it be funny if I cluttered up your email box as a decluttering coach. How ironic is that? No, I send you like 2 or 3 emails. The first one, you will get a fun little habit tracker that you can use to track your habits. There's also one that's pre-populated with 10 easy like decluttering things to keep you decluttered. Also, I do, just for the people that are on my mailing list, I do a once a month live Zoom where we all get on Zoom and you and I get to have some FaceTime and we talk about your specific situation. Also on my website, I can talk about when we have a consultation, how much are sessions with me. I do, just so you know, so everybody knows, I work in a 10-week program. I don't do one-off sessions because it takes more than a one-off session to get you really the progress you want. So I work in 10 sessions. We can talk about that when you do a consultation, okay? ADHD made college studying hard. I had to learn to have what I call controlled distractions. Yes, that is so good that you learned how to use something that works with your brain to get to a goal you wanted to. So rock on with you learning how to live and love with your brain. Controlled distractions with listening to audiobooks. That works for you. Whatever works for you that gets you to the destination you want. You know, my sister, and I don't think she'd mind me saying this, like she has ADHD, and I will see her with the TV on, and she'll be on her phone, and it does not work for me, but it works for her. And if it works for her, rock on. Get on the mailing list by going to my website. Actually, I think even if you go to my TikTok page, it'll say destinationdecluttered.com/join. You go there, you put in your email address, and you will get this. I think it sends it automatically, okay? And as you can see, I use it myself. There we go. So the squirrels didn't distract me. Yes, and the cool thing is to notice the squirrels and then have the power to say, I see you, squirrel, but I'm doing this even just for the next 20 minutes. You know, it's just retraining your brain to, again, to get you towards the life you want to go to. Like you want to go to where you want to go to, not where the squirrel is going to send you, right? I so know that stuff firsthand. So I totally get where you're coming from. And that's why I do what I do, because we all have too much, many of us have too much stuff in our lives. And that's an abundance thing. But when the stuff that you have weighs you down and makes you feel heavy and stuck, that's when your abundance becomes a problem. So what I help you do is I help you define what you want your life to look and feel like, and then we take action with your stuff and clutter that always is aiming towards that destination, okay? I offer this on one-on-one coaching. You can sign up to get a consultation on my mailing list. On my website. I have a mailing list you can sign up for. I do videos all the time. I will do some more lives because this is fun to connect with people and answer stuff. Yes, you're still super cluttered and behind on things, but trying to be better. That trying to be better for you, that is your co-pilot. That is your co-pilot saying, yep, we got this. We're working on it. I'm a work in progress. We are all works in progress, people. And I bet if you just show up, if everybody, all 141 people who are on this right now, if when I end this thing at 10 o'clock my time, if you shut off your phone, if you shut off the TikTok, right? And then you went to your timer and you just set your timer for 20 minutes. And then you did something that got you less cluttered in that 20 minutes. And at the end of that 20 minutes, the alarm goes off, you high-fived yourself, you're like, check me out. Every one of you would be closer to your destination of being decluttered than you ever have been in your life. Okay? And Molten Magic Mama, Lava Mama, you stumbled across it right now because if you are struggling with your clutter, this is a sign from the universe that there is help out there if you are stuck and you don't know what to do. Follow my page, sign up for my mailing list, get one-on-one coaching. Okay? I will only be here for another 6 minutes. Then I would love for it. Awesome. Adult Slime. I will see you there on the mailing list. And also on this month's we're going to do a Zoom live, a live Zoom. Because why I do this as I show up, because I don't want somebody to sign up for something they don't want. This is who I am. I am Beth. I am the Decluttering Life Coach. And this is how I show up. I obviously am not always in my pajamas, but it's an early Sunday morning. This is how I coach. This is how I talk to you as a client. This is how we dismantle the things that are in your way. And if you connect up with how I present this information, I readily admit that I am not offering anything new under the sun. But the way I describe it to myself gets me going every day, gets me doing stuff. I have written books. I have done TV shows. I have done different things because I got this mindset behind me, and I got decluttered, and I love my house, and I love my life, and I want you to have this too. Okay? So that's good. Even if, yeah, and honestly, Laura loves teaching. I'm real. I can only be who I am. Like, I used to see people, honestly, I didn't get into coaching for so long because I saw so many people that were all like corporate and stuff. And I was like, I don't want to have to become one of those people to help people. I don't want to have to turn into like a fembot with like my headset and my heels. That's not who I am. There are people out there who love coaches like that. More power to you. But if you want a coach who is just a person at her kitchen table like you, who's figured some stuff out and is so excited to share it so your life gets better like my life got better, I feel like this is like a calling. Like, yeah, I am connecting and helping people. So, yes, I slept with laundry and random items I threw on my bed. I remember this used to happen as a teenager. We all do that occasionally. But how about this? How about when you get off of this TikTok in 4 minutes, you set your timer and you just deal with the stuff that's on your bed, put them away, and then make your bed. It's going to feel so much better. I'm a reseller. Yeah, okay. Reseller, what do? You identify the things that are the highest profit items. And if the things that are not the high profit items are not worth your time in investing to make the profit, you go donate them somewhere else. I used to resell all the time, but you can waste so much time. It takes you just as long to list and sell something that's worth $5 as it does to list something and sell it that's worth 500. So I would suggest this. Look at the things that are the things that are going to make you the most profit and release anything that's the low ticket items, okay? I work full time and have no energy to declutter. Okay, so there's a couple of things that we could unpack with that, but it's only 3 minutes. I will offer this. You can begin to have habits that keep you from being cluttered in the first place. You can simply change what you do when you come home from work so that you work on a little bit of clutter at a time, little bit of clutter, and you also do things differently so the clutter does not accumulate, okay? And Mary, I will say this, when we talk in a one-on-one coaching session, we talk about time blocking and time management and how there may be parts of your life where there's places where you are spending time inefficiently that you don't need to, so you will have time to be decluttered. But unless you're in love with the idea of getting decluttered, you're going to put roadblocks in your way to say, I can't do it. So you have to fall in love with, you have to believe that you are worth having a life that's decluttered and wonderful. Okay? There you go. All right, rock on with your bed, self-selling slime. I don't know what that's about. Just made your bed. There you go. Yeah, so there you go. We'll find a thing that works for you. All right. So we have 2 minutes left. And then I really do need to get off of this because I want to go do the things that light up my life. And I also have a whole thing that's gone this afternoon. So all of you all who have been here for a while, thank you so much for keeping me company this morning at my kitchen table. I am showing up doing these lives because I am realizing that there are people out there who struggle with stuff like I used to. But I found a way out. I created a map. And now I know how much better it feels to be on the other side of it and living a life that I love in a house that looks like I love it and it feels good and it smells good and it just gives me the good vibes. And I firmly believe that everybody on the planet, except for really evil jerks, even them, everybody has the right, deserves to live a life you love. So if I can help you, random person on the internet, live a life you love by helping you release the stuff in your life that doesn't serve you, I want to do that. I want to help you. If you're like, hell yeah, let's go. And it sounds like I'm connecting up, so it's good. And yes, I will do a post before 1 o'clock today after I've showered. I will look at my calendar. I will show up with some more lives. But I encourage you with this last minute. I will say, you got this. You already know what to do. You already know some things to do to get decluttered. So in a minute when I do find how I shut this off, and I will start that. Okay, there's the little off thing. Shut off your phone. Stop consuming this stuff. Just shut it off. turn on the part that you have a timer. Set your timer for 20 minutes. If each one of 230 people did this right now, after I shut this off, oh, it's 10 o'clock. So I'm going to say goodbye, turn off the TikTok, stop consuming and start creating a life you want by shutting this off, turning your timer for 20 minutes, and do something, anything that you know how to do to get yourself decluttered, and you will be closer to your decluttered destination than you ever have been. Okay? I'm signing off. I need to wash my hair. I need to go for a walk. I need to say hello to my husband. This has been awesome. You guys got this. You have it in you. I'm here to help. All right?